There we go. So we always like to start the week with some wins and if there's anything that you do need help with, so we can get some presentations on diving into things that you really want to work on for your future. Usually I present China or Michelle that's on the group here too. And you are welcome to invite any other realtors. They do not have to be with our company specifically. Any company is fine. It's just a great opportunity for everyone to connect together. So, anyone have any wins this week? Any deals you've done? Doesn't have to be a deal either. Could be a personal win. Kiki, what's your win?
Oh, I did the home show with Barry from Dominion Lending and had 100 names. One of them won the prize, and her husband doesn't want to move, but she sure does. So working on that. And then I have well, I don't have the meeting set up yet, but I'm to call next week to give the free home evaluation, which is what we offered to the 100 or so people that came. A lot of like, I'm not gonna lie, some people hung up on me, other
Sure.
people, yeah, but to get even one free home evaluation out of it was absolutely a win. So
That's
yay
right.
for home show, and
Yeah.
definitely do that again.
Awesome. Cool. Anyone else got a win?
I feel like I've been trying to break into one of the other cities, Walsburg, like 45 minutes away from us. I've been really wanting to try and get more business in that area because I feel like the agents are a little bit behind over there and we could
Yeah.
have a lot to offer. So we've had our team has had a couple listings there this week and we have a lot of leads coming off of that. So I feel like our team's gonna break into that city soon. So that feels like an
By
accomplishment.
the agents being behind China, do you mean they don't answer or return any phone calls
Yeah,
ever?
or
Yeah.
like
Or
do
marketing.
anything, or
Yeah.
marketing, or professional photography, all the things. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have
We
a lot to
are
offer.
even the one that I just listed and sold in multiples within 3 hours there. The agents that came through were taking pictures of our staging and everything. So like
Wow.
they're so different there. And we actually charge more commission and people are willing to pay it. So
Yep.
it's just a matter of showing our value, right? So it's really good. That's a great opportunity.
Hmm.
Megan, Jenny, anyone got anything else?
I'll share kind of like a behind the scenes win. I'm
Awesome.
actually sitting down this
I
morning and I'm doing a
go ahead,
deep
Meg.
dive. Oh,
Oh,
can you
Jenny,
hear me?
go ahead. Yep.
Okay. I'm doing like a deep dive on like the financial side of my business. And it's just been something that I've been like putting off because there's like always other things to do. And I buckle down today and I'm just going through like, all my monthly expenses and just trying to figure out like
Good.
your expenses just happen so quickly. And that's something that I really want to dial into. So I'm still in progress, but I've started today and I'm just kind of locking myself in the office to get that done. And it feels really good. It's
So
one of those
good.
things that you put it off and it's like, okay, like just do it. And it feels really good.
I too am in the middle of that with my assistant and the Reside program. So they set us up on QuickBooks. Um, and yeah, what you think you're spending ends up being like double because you don't even realize it adds up so quickly. So that's so good to really see where everything's going for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
It is
also
hard.
at the
It is
beginning of
hard.
the year we like to do business plans based on that, right? So that's a great opportunity to have those numbers to set that. Cool. Jenny, what you got?
Um, Other than connecting with you guys and having like the RE expert side in Ontario now,
Awesome.
I listed a house last week while we were at EXPCon, and it sold above ask in multiples.
Yay.
So I love that for my clients and for myself for it being
Yep.
my first listing in Ontario.
Awesome.
And yeah, yeah, just kind of winning mindset. Everything's gonna be good.
That's right. That's right. Awesome.
Where are you located, Jenny?
I'm in the Kingston area.
Oh, nice. Good to know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Jenny was out east with the RE experts and just moved to Ontario. So I ran into
Okay,
her while we were at EXPCon and she mentioned that. So
cool.
cool.
Yeah, I'm still licensed in Nova Scotia as well. I'm actually heading back there next week to list a couple properties and do a couple closings for my clients. But the dual license is kind of a fun thing to be doing right now.
Awesome. All right. Michelle, Marky Mark, you got anything?
I would say for me, it's probably you and I, the deal that we've tried to do probably what, 4 times in
Yep.
the last like 3 months. And so finally, yes, it's only conditional, but like I
It's
know
gonna
my people
happen.
are still very happy to just know that there's something for them in Ontario because they are coming from out east.
Yep.
And so I think just getting that together, because I mean, we had some stubborn people to deal with and
We
interesting
did. So to
situations.
fill everyone in, that was a little bit of a shit show. It is a separation. And of course, you know how that goes. No one was agreeing. And it was just a lot of back and forth. So we were getting the same offer come back and back and back. And finally, the one that was causing the difficulty reached out and said, okay, I'll take it now. So we just instantly go get that deal. Let's put it together.
Yeah.
So it was a long time coming, but it's good that we're getting it there. So Marky Mark, are you there? No? Okay. All right, guys. So today, has anyone used this gamma thing? Because it's pretty awesome.
I used it last week when I did my presentation.
So
It's
good.
cool.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, Gamma, you can actually just type in, it's gamma.app, and you can just type in like what you plan to present on, even if you're doing a listing presentation, and it will just blow out this whole beautiful presentation for you, which is awesome. So I will present this one. Let's see here. Okay, so resetting your business. Anything specifically that anyone feels like they're failing on in their business that they really need to attend to right now?
Taxes.
Taxes?
Yeah.
Okay,
And I
I'm
know
not a tax accountant, so I can't really help with that one, but
I think time management is a struggle for all of us, right? Because
yeah.
we're pulled in 100 different directions, and
yep,
you mean to make your calls or you mean to sit down and organize flyering for the week, and then you get a phone call and you get interrupted. So I think time blocking and time management is a huge part of where I struggle, and I'm sure a lot of us do.
yep. Anyone else?
I feel like just really trying to be mindful, like work-life balance, I guess. Like it's hard when it feels like life is a lot in like I feel like I felt so motivated last week and things were like going great, and then obviously it's like I feel like it's like 5 steps forward and then 10 steps backwards. Like
Yeah,
this week, I definitely did not accomplish what was on my never-ending to-do list. So kind of disappointed, but also like just kind of take it as it is and start fresh, I guess. But
that's okay. You know what? Life throws punches and it's totally fine. We can reset and restart the next day, the next week, right? It's just a matter of being mindful of this is where I need to be right now, and I can come back to this, right? Your priorities, family, life, number one, no matter what you do, right? Um, I'm also even acknowledging that in myself because I'm becoming obsessive right now over transitioning my business. So I'm like on my FUB just all day, all day, all day, even when I'm sitting with Bo, and I have to be mindful of like, okay, I'm going to sit and play with Bo, right? So time blocking is good, even if you have to play I don't want to say your phone away, but putting it on silent to focus on whatever you're focusing on, right? So then no other calls are coming in. Um, but if you have to reset every week, that's okay. It's like a diet, right? How many of us fall off the grid or a workout, we fall off starting again. It's just being mindful that, hey, I need to get my shit together and I need to start this again. And that's okay. Always okay, right? Anything else besides time blocking, time management?
I find for myself, like switching my businesses from Nova Scotia to Ontario, and we kind of touched on this, Courtney, but for me, it's more so like I feel like having my systems in place like are taking me it's taking me so much longer to like draft up the emails and draft, my presentation and everything, where I had those things set in Nova Scotia and I'm trying to like use them and edit them for Ontario, but I feel like I'm like drowning in the like back end of things. And I would say like obviously I'm not, but I feel that way, I guess.
Yeah. I think you and I mentioned we should probably get on a call one of these days and set up your web forms because you can make it so automated for just like a click and play.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. Anything that you can automate is obviously key in your business, right? And it all depends on what systems you're using for your database, your web forms. When you signed on to be licensed over here, did they not set up a time to actually go through all those things with you?
Nope. Nope. They were like your orientation is here, but you've already been with EXP and you know the systems and everything, like you're good kind of deal. And I was like, okay, great, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, you should definitely we can get on a call and do that because obviously you'll need to be on your laptop and we'll kind of go through the web form side of things. So yeah, cool. Anything else?
I always forget about prospecting when I'm
Yep.
busy.
Yep.
So I just had a really busy last couple months, and like now the dust is kind of like settled from all the busyness and just like, all right, like you get that panic of I need to build my like summer fall pipeline.
That's right.
And so yeah, that's something that has just been on my mind lately, making time for that.
Yep, that's very, very common that people get busy and they're like, oh, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. And then bam, it stops, right? So it's very important, no matter how busy you are, to plug out time to prospect always. So as Chef Black always says, hunt in the morning, eat in the afternoon. So spend a few hours every morning prospecting, no matter what you're doing. For me, I prospect if I'm doing agent attraction, I'm prospecting that from 8:30 to 9:30, 9:30 to 10:30. I'm doing actual client prospecting. And I'm not even really in the industry to sell anymore. I just do return and referral, but that's still my habit, right? I'm always doing that in the morning. So, but that's also in my calendar. If I showed you my calendar, you'd want to puke because it's pretty crazy, but it's there and it's every day. So like that's just my thing. I go get my coffee in the morning and that's when I start. And once you get in the habit, again, 30 days takes your habit to actually make it a habit, right? And you'll just always do it, right? And then after that, then I dive in, okay, what paperwork do I need to do? I'm very thankful that my assistant takes care of most of my paperwork now, but having that strategy that those are put in my calendar and then any appointments are going to be in the afternoon, no matter what. So then I'm filling my pipeline, I'm prepared, and I'm ready to go. I also pick up my son by like 3, 4 o'clock latest and I'm home for the rest of the day. So that's how I set my schedule. It's very organized, it's very strategic, but that's how I create extreme momentum for that pipeline too. So anything else? Good. Okay. So revitalizing your business, if you're feeling a little stagnant, kind of like what we were just talking about, making a strategic overhaul. We want to boost your career and follow up. Everyone is going to have different goals. Everyone is going to have different prospecting ways of doing things, and that's totally okay too. So let's see if I can get through this here. There we go. So step 1 is an honest self-assessment. There's nothing I can tell you to dive into more than being honest with yourself, right? Are you taking care of yourself, your mental health, your family, the things that are taking away from your mind? And acknowledging where you're at, acknowledge where your business is at and where you may be having weaknesses, right? We can always identify our strengths. We know what we're good at, and we tend to always go towards what we're good at. So if we're good at showing houses or doing open houses, those are the things we're always going to dive into. But if you identify your weaknesses and really work on them, it's like, I'm not a person that works out, but if I started to work out, that's my weakness. I'm only going to do better if I keep trying at it, right? So identifying where you're struggling and how can you increase that business. Analyze your performance. How have you done in the past? Where have you done well? And score yourself. Where is your business coming from? So when you're really, really busy and maybe all your business is coming from open houses, okay, maybe you dive more into open houses because that's bringing you a lot of business. Maybe you're getting a lot of online leads. Maybe you want to spend more time doing that. But the reality is calculating your return on investment. If you're spending a lot of money doing farming, is it getting you something, right? Farming is not something that I do. It's not something that I've ever even valued, to be honest. But every single listing presentation, buyer presentation, every move I make, I sit back afterwards and take an honest self-assessment about it and say, okay, where could I have done better? Even if I got it, where could I have done better? If I don't get it, Where did I go wrong? Why did this agent get it over me? China, I know you're really good at this too. Like it's always the first thing we do, but you have to be honest with yourself. If you are struggling at home and you have personal things going on, take time away from work and fix those problems because your mind is always going to be thinking of those and you're not going to be fully into your business. If you're not fully into your business, you're going to put yourself at risk. These are legal contracts. If you have them written wrong, if you're not doing the right thing for your client, you can end up in big trouble, as we know. You could potentially lose your license. You could potentially have a big fine. You need to be completely and mentally here. If you have issues in your mind, you can't do that, right? So an honest self-assessment is always going to be number one. Our team is huge on therapy. We think everyone should do therapy. It's fabulous for you. Whether you think you need it or not, you always do. It's a great opportunity to take time to really figure your own stuff out to help others. At the end of the day, we're mentors and helpers for other people, so we need to be fully mindful of ourselves. The next step is setting SMART goals. Has anyone heard of the SMART goals? Yeah. Yeah. SMART goals is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Okay? If you want to increase your volume by 20%, that's a specific goal. So what does that 20% look like? How many deals did you do last year? Plus 20%. That's how many extra deals you want to do. Being able to actually make it specific. So for example, I always want to do 100 deals a year, which breaks down to 2 deals per week. 2 deals a week sounds way easier than when I say I want to do 100 deals in a year, right? If I break that down to such a smaller increment, it makes it way easier to go about. Measuring it. Track your leads, track your showings, and track your closed deals. So if you have a good CRM, we use Follow Up Boss for our team, but we can put in there every appointment we show, every open house, every time we have a buyer assessment, whatever it is, we can put it all in there. We can see all the calls we've made. So now I can see, okay, I made 20 calls to get 1 lead. I had 3 listing appointments to get 1 deal. If you can actually measure exactly where those things are coming from, you're going to know exactly what you have to do. Currently, the market is down 30% pretty much everywhere, which means we need to dive into our systems and do 30% more prospecting this year. This year is going to be absolutely wild. The market is going to get very busy. And if you are in agent attraction, it is going to be one of the best times to attract people as well, oddly enough. It's a lot of people are scared of the tariffs and everything that's going on in the world. So we have to be aware of what's going on and how to dive into that too. Making it achievable, setting realistic targets based on the market condition. Okay. I'm a little bit of a delusional person when I set my goals. And it's a joke in my office because in my mind, if I say I want to make $2 million and I land on 1.5, I think that's still pretty damn good. So, right? If it's 100 deals and I end up doing 80, that's still really good. So I always look at it as if I'm reaching for the moon and I fall in the stars, that's cool too, right? But if I'm reaching to sell 10 deals and I know in the past I've done 50, 60, 70, why would I lower myself to that? You should always be increasing. I've always been an agent that doubles my business almost every year until I got up to some of these higher numbers. And to be able to do that, you have to be able to measure what you're doing and see where it's coming from. Make sure it's achievable. If you're setting targets that are so out there, unless you're like me and totally cool to fall under that, it might bring you down too, right? So you want to set something that's achievable and realistic, and also set it in time-bound increments, right? We usually go by quarters. So we do a business plan at the beginning of the year, and then we meet every quarter to see where everyone's landing. Second quarter is always your busiest. Most your business is going to be right now. You have in 365 days of real estate, they say you sell 185 of those days. Because the market is up, down, up, down, up, down, right? We go through time spurts that kids are going back to school, so nobody's moving. It's Christmas time, so nobody wants to move. We know when those peaks and valleys are around, so we have to be aware of them. So marking time bound and making sure everything is relevant with your long-term goals. If your goal is to retire, if your goal is to be a referral agent, are you seeking out agents over clients? Really setting up what your goal is. And of course, everyone's going to be different. I'm always happy to get on a one-on-one call to help you set those goals. That's totally fine too. But setting realistic targets based on your conditions as well. And I don't say based on your conditions as in, oh, Sally just liked a different agent than me, or oh, they liked this person over me, or the buyer's dad had a different agent. I don't take that as an okay scenario. It is up to you to provide the value to get these deals. So you have to be able to present in a way that you're confident. Yesterday I was on a call and they're like, okay, how do you take the deals? And I said, I'm just cocky and assume I'm everyone's agent, right? Every conversation I have, I just assume I'm their agent. And most times it just rolls with it, right? When you're so confident and you're talking of, okay, let's get you this house, we'll get you this, we'll find you this, then people start assuming that as well. So building that confidence to make these goals achievable is a great way to do it too. Any questions on that part, the SMART goals? So this year I also heard of dumb goals, which is basically what I do when I go to the extreme. I didn't even know that there was a name for it, but apparently it's called dumb goals, and I'm totally okay with that too. So upskill and expand expertise. Invest in your education. The other day I was talking to someone, I was like, why were you not at EXPCon? And they said, well, I'm not an icon agent. I was like, what does that have to do with anything? You go there to learn to become an icon agent, right? Like you have to constantly invest in your education in this industry. There's workshops, there's online courses. We're doing a free one-day workshop in London on the 24th. Anything that's free, you can almost guarantee I'm at or doing, whether it's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Friday night, I am doing it. John Sheplak, I think I just did like 10 different courses with him that were free because he's $2,000 for 20 minutes. So if there is a free opportunity there, I am diving all in there, right? Always be aware of that and invest in it. If there's new certifications, jump into it if it makes sense for you. Digital marketing, focus on in-demand skills. Advanced negotiations is a great opportunity if there's something for that. Property valuations, Jenny, if you're in a new area, that's a great opportunity if there's anyone to help out with that. Digital marketing, of course, social media stuff. China and Michelle are fabulous at social media marketing, so that's another thing we can dive into on one of these days. Staying informed on the market, interest rate trends, changes over the inventory, and demographic shifts. I am not big to post every time the interest rate changes because every realtor posts that. So in a change up of that, I always suggest taking that information and educating it. So turn it around and educate people on your social media of this is what this means for you. Don't just tell them, hey, the interest rate changed, here's what it's at. Because you know what happens? People call me and you're like, well, I want that interest rate. Well, you can't. You just locked yourself into 5 years. So now you're going to have a big penalty. So what does that look like for you? If you turn around and said, hey, the interest rate's at 3%, this is what it means if you're buying right now, and this is what it means for people that are coming up for renewal, right? Explain it further. People just see, oh, sweet, the market's going down again. If you explain and educate, they're going to see you as a value to them. Okay, revamp your marketing strategy. Refreshing and rebranding is a great opportunity if you're trying to reset your business. Updating websites, redesigning business cards, and revitalizing social media. I've always done my social media as posts of my like solds and then my personal stuff, and we always want to inspire. Now I've totally changed it to just reels on my Instagram. Videos are a big thing. Everyone wants to see videos. I've also changed it to make sure the words are in there because everyone's got their phones on silent all the time. So reiterating what's going on, what those changes are to actually refresh your branding as well is a great opportunity. Implementing targeted advertising. We pay someone to do that on our side. Of course, that can be quite expensive, but if you do targeted, as opposed to just buying Facebook ads, which are not specifically targeted, they can be, but if you actually pay someone to do it properly, you're going to get a lot more value out of it. If you do that, really pay attention to your ROI, make sure it makes sense. I never paid for leads in my career until we had the team actually, but You can use direct mailing campaigns if you're going for a specific area for farming. Sponsoring local events is a great opportunity, or having your own local events. We are really big on having our own local events. You can always, if you have a mortgage lender or a lawyer you work with, get them to help sponsor it for you to cover some of the costs, and really getting your face out there. Face is everything. Your face has to be on everything. Showcasing your expertise, creating helpful blog contents, producing property videos. Like I said, I've changed everything in mine to be videos, and sharing market reports. If you're sharing market reports, because every agent does that, again, I strongly suggest sharing it with an educational piece to it, right? You can put all those numbers out there and people are like, oh, cool, the market's down or up or whatever. But how does it affect me? Every person in the world, they just want to know it's all about me, right? What does this mean for me? So if you're instantly doing that and providing them that value of like, this is what it means for you, as opposed to, here's the information. And if you're not a numbers person, people are like, okay, I don't know what that means, right? I personally, I hate numbers. China's fabulous at it. She is probably our go-to for most of our team if we're going for numbers, see personalities, right? But if you're dealing with clients that really want to know the numbers, I know to bring China to dive into those, right? So really knowing your strength and your weaknesses on how you're going to present things. If your weakness is the number, grab a mortgage lender to jump into your video or have them help you do those numbers to really educate people. It's going to help their business as well. Re-engaging your network. This is huge. If you have a database, when was the last time you talked to people in your database, right? Connect with them, sending personalized notes. Literally, we do personalized notes in the mail. We do birthday cards that are handwritten. Re-engaging your SOI in your database is huge, even just sending whether or not they're getting your monthly newsletter or, again, that information you're posting online, maybe you're sending it more directly. If you have people in there that aren't on a drip campaign and you need to reconnect with them, find a drip campaign that's going to bring them back into connection with you, because you want to make sure you're constantly touching base with them, whether it be once a month, once a quarter. It needs to be something to re-engage the people you already have in your database. Hosting clients events are a great one because people feel really important when they get invited. We tend to gather people that are our top referring networks when we do the client events because, of course, we have a large database. If you have a small database, everyone is a great opportunity. Industry events, joining conferences and networking for mixers regularly. I always suggest be aware of what those mixers look like. If you're just going to hang out with other local realtors, that's really not benefiting your business. But if you're going out of town to connect with other realtors, that's benefiting your referral business. You okay, buddy? So building business relationships, partnering again with lenders, contractors, inspectors to help A, cut those costs down for you, and B, see if they can help promote you too, right? Maybe you guys are doubling up on doing your database or doing letters or mail campaigns or whatever. You can all chip in to do that, and that helps save costs there too. Personalized updates and request referrals is a great opportunity. The other easy thing right now, and I suggest every one of you do this to at least one person today, pick a person in your database that you haven't talked to a while, find out what a home in their area has sold for, and just send them a quick message. Hey, Bob, just thinking of you. I thought you would love to know that the house down the street just sold for $600,000. I hope the family's doing well. I'd love to chat soon. Right? If someone has been sitting on their property for years and years and they just find out that they could sell it for 600,000, they probably bought it for 2, they might reconsider buying. Or they may say, oh, you know what? I'm not going to move, but my son is considering. Thanks for the heads up. Right? Bam, opens up a conversation. I used to do that at least a few times a day, just random people I would pick up of my past clients, but it's a way to help re-engage them again. Okay. Embracing technology. Again, CRM, it's huge. There we go. Leveraging your CRM, managing your leads efficiently, track deals automatically, and streamlines your communication. Every single person in your database should be on a drip list campaign, no matter what. If it's someone you're just nurturing, it should just be something simple, whether it be the newsletter, but I suggest it be more than just the newsletter. Not everyone reads the newsletter, but something of value that might be every quarter. Our drip campaign looks like, hey, I just read this podcast the other day. I thought you might be interested. I just read this podcast. I listened to this podcast. I mean, you know what I meant. But something simple like that. I thought you'd be interested. It was really intriguing, whatever. Whether people grab onto it or not, some people do. Our drip campaigns are set up so well that if I look at my outgoing emails, there's thousands being sent out at a time every day. And then people are replying back, you know what? Thanks, Court. I really appreciate that. And I didn't even know what we sent, right? So then I have to go back and see what we sent just to touch base again. But that's how you get people to engage again. If your CRM or your database is not good, as you guys saw yesterday, I have a new database I'm doing for agent side of things. So I have hundreds of thousands of people I have to go through to make sure they have the right email, the right phone number, and see where each person's at. Some of them are retired in the industry, but I'm plugging out 2 hours a day to do that. Because if your database is not set up properly, everything else is going to fall apart. So it's the worst part of our business, but you got to do it. So plug in. Again, I'm plugging in 2 hours a day to work on mine because it's going to take me a long time, but at least I'm doing something every 2 hours. While I'm checking that, I'm also sending out a text message or a call to every person on there. So then I'm kind of doing both. I'm partially tagging people at the same time, but I got to do better at that right now. But my goal right now is just to make sure people have emails and phone numbers. That's all I care about. I got to get that rolling. So spend time making sure it's efficient for your business. Utilizing virtual tours, huge. Showcase every property. There's a lot of agents out there that still aren't doing videos. Do videos on every single property. Do not take pictures with your cell phone, please. Don't be in the mirrors. Don't be in the windows, right? Make sure you're really utilizing virtual tours and showcasing every property properly. Save time with pre-qualified buyers. I will never show a property if a buyer is not pre-qualified. It just won't happen. Expanding your geographic reach. Like China said, we're diving into Wallaceburg right now. It was always part of our demographic, but it's something that, I don't know, we just popped up with a few deals the other day, and now we can really see diving into that. And as we're diving into that, we're also having agents wanting to connect with us. So it's been really good, and we will start farming that area, flyering that area, doing all those different things, right? Great opportunities there. Leveraging data analytics. Identify emerging market trends, right? What is the market trends? What's the right neighborhood for people? Is it first-time home buyers coming to town? We had a few years where we had tons of new builders coming to town, and now they've all gone downhill. So it's a matter of knowing where everything's at. When people ask me, you know what are these interest rates doing? What are the tariffs doing? Do you see the market crashing? First of all, if the market crashes, it's a great time to buy anyways. So people need to understand that and educate people on that. But do I think it's affecting builders? Absolutely. Do I think it's affecting resale? I think resale is going to increase because of it, right? So knowing what's going on in your area, everyone's area is going to be a little bit different, and leveraging on those trends. Okay. So action plans for resetting. If you want to do good business, you have to have at least 10 conversations a day. That doesn't say 10 calls a day. That says 10 conversations a day. So if you have to call 30 or 50 people to get 10 conversations, then you need to write that down and say, okay, I called 30, 50 people to get to this, right? 5 new connections. This is always a joke in my day that I go to the coffee shop in the morning and sit with my old boys that I don't know anything about, but I get to know people every morning. Every morning I meet someone new. I just had 2 new people that added me on Facebook from the coffee shop that didn't actually talk to me, but they were there. So, but the fact that people get to know you, right? Create those connections. You have to leave your house, everybody. As much as COVID was great and we could sit behind our computer and do all our business, you have to leave your house in this industry. You have to get to know people. At least 2 weekly appointments. Schedule 2 client meetings every single week. And commit to everything continuously. In order to increase, you have to stay consistent. Being consistent creates a good, solid business. If you're not consistent, if you're sleeping in, if you're missing appointments, if you're not setting up your calendar for success, another great attribute to do is Sunday nights, or even every night, really set up for success for the next day, right? Michelle, I know you're really good at this. I'm not great at it, but I always have a ton of things to do that I know I can do the next day too. So really setting up the evening before, writing down everything you have to do the next day, who you're going to call. If you have a huge database, just write down 10 random names and call them. If you don't reach them, write down 10 more, right? Track it. Track everything you're doing. You will quickly learn within a week or two of how many people you need to call to get those 10 conversations, how many new connections you need to have in order to get those 2 appointments, right? So once you start figuring those out, you're going to dive down to your numbers so efficiently. You can time block, okay, it takes me 1 hour to call 50 people to get those 10 conversations. So I can time block every single morning for 1 hour. If I need 2 appointments, that's what? Half an hour to an hour each appointment. You're literally, that's 1 hour, 5 days a week, 5, maybe 7 hours a week working on that. If you treat your job like a typical 40-hour work week, and this only takes you 7 hours to do, think of how much better your business is going to be if you fully dive into that, right? Thoughts, conversations? Was this helpful at all?
I think so, absolutely, especially with the calendar, because I have seen your calendar and it did make me taste vomit. But I'm starting to plug things in before bed that need to be done the next day.
Yeah.
So just that small act is really beneficial, because nobody wants to go to bed the next night with a bunch of to-dos that weren't done.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
find it
So
beneficial.
this is my calendar for those of you that want to taste vomit today. But we show in there, and I actually click off things too. Like if we're doing training, we add that. If I'm doing a different training, I'm adding that. So it all depends what I'm doing each week. But for the most part, this is mine. So you can see 10 conversations each day that I have to do. This is plugged in every Friday as a non-negotiable. Like these things are my non-negotiables. And then if I'm doing additional trainings, then I might add them in. So, but if I'm doing a course that's telling me this is what I have to do, then I'm doing it. My courses are thousands of dollars to join into. So I'm listening to everything they're saying, right? There's lots of things in there. You can see yesterday I was at therapy, right? That's a huge thing. That's a non-negotiable for me. I had videos in Wallaceburg. I had YLOPO training. I had to meet with my assistant because she was going to kick my ass this week. So there's lots of things that you have to put in there as non-negotiables, and you'll do much better at your business for sure. Any other thoughts, questions? Does everyone think they can have 10 conversations a day?
I get a lot of voicemails, Courtney, and that'd be hard, but yeah, it's something to strive for.
I definitely find with like the leads and whatnot, yeah, you get a lot of like voicemails with that, but
Yeah.
harass them.
Did you see the new thing I put on our Freedom Friday the other day? If you get a voicemail, say, hey, it's Michelle Pereira calling from the Platinum Properties team. I just found something that I think might be of interest to you. If you want to give me a quick call back.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would do like a follow-up text as well. Like if I got I don't leave a voicemail typically. I don't know. I don't even listen to my voicemails. So if I miss a call, like I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. I'm the same. I'm very thankful that my voicemail actually sends me a text message, because I would never check my voicemail either.
Yeah.
But I agree.
Thing. Like old people like me, we need voicemail. And my kids, if I actually phone them, they're like, "What is the 911 emergency? Why are you placing a call?" Yeah.
Yeah. Yesterday, everything I was doing when I was calling and getting voicemail, same thing, Michelle. I was instantly sending a text message. Hey, this is Courtney Levert. The reason for my call is this, right?
Yeah.
Megan, Jenny, anything? Was this helpful at all?
Yeah, I found this was helpful. It's always nice to have a reset
Mm-hmm.
and go back to basics. So it's always nice to have those reminders.
Yeah. And honestly, when I do coaching calls and stuff, that's always what it is. It's getting back to the basics and reminding yourself of like, oh yes, I still need to do that. I still need to get in the habit of that, right? And I'm 15 years in. There's still things that I'm like, oh yes, I need to keep doing this. Jenny, was this helpful for you? Is she still on here? Okay, so if there's any questions, feel free to throw those in the chats as well. Anything that you guys want to learn on in the next few weeks?
Nothing that I can think of right now, but
Cool. Yeah.
It's always good to go through a listing presentation
Sure.
just to gain the confidence for that and how it should flow ideally,
Mm-hmm.
and getting the signature at the end of that.
Yep.
You know, my track record, that doesn't always happen, but to get to that close at
Yep.
the listing,
Yep. Fully converting it. Yep. I can actually,
that would be
I don't know who all was at, Megan, were you at EXPCon?
I was, yeah.
Did you see my presentation while I was there?
No, I forget which one I was in another one, but
Okay.
Jessie went to it, I believe. And she took
Yeah.
lots of really good notes and shared them.
Yeah, so I think I might do that one maybe next Friday because I've had a lot of people ask me to do it, and that's about taking your contact to your contract, which is a great one as well. So maybe we'll do that one next Friday so we can go through
Oh,
the
that would be awesome. Yeah, for those of us that didn't get to Montreal, I'd
Yeah.
love that.
Cool. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining today, and we will see you next Friday. If there's ever any questions or things going on, throw it in our group there. We do also have a lunch and learn coming up in London. I know some of you are a little farther away from that, but if you want to join us, it is a free event. I will post that in our group as well. So awesome. Have a great day, everyone.
I
Okay,
Thanks
thank
so
you.
much.